The SS396 Chevelle was already king of the street, so in 1970, just for good measure, Chevrolet built an even faster one. This is what the muscle car was all about. Straight line acceleration. If the car didn't make the grade here, all the racing stripes and catchy nicknames in the world couldn't make up for it. Since 1964, GM, Ford, Chrysler, and AMC had all been working overtime to create cars that captured the imaginations and the pocketbooks of the youth market. Out on the streets, it was one overpowered cruise missile after another. By 1970, it had become really difficult to create a big splash in the muscle car marketplace. The car companies were trying everything from cartoon characters to popular catchphrases to grab the spotlight. Everyone was looking for that one magic ingredient that would lift them to the head of the pack. Chevrolet decided to use an old but very effective gimmick: pure horsepower. This is the 1970 Chevelle ss454 LS6. 450 sit-down, hang-on, and shut-up horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of tire-melting torque. The ss454 Chevelle was the last of Chevrolet's big cubic-inch muscle cars, and it rates today, without debate, as one of the 2 or 3 most awesome cars ever created. Super Sport Chevelles with 396 engines had been fearsome competitors on the street and the strip ever since 1965. Joe George remembers the appeal of the 396 Chevelle.
It has such great looks, and plus it was a cheap car you could buy back then, just had raw powers. And now, of course, you don't have any car. I know you have a lot of fast cars now, but you don't have anything with the brute power that these cars have.
But in 1970, Chevy took the most powerful engine they'd ever built, put it into the most beautiful Chevelle they'd ever designed, and created something truly special. The LS6 454 delivered more horsepower than any other production engine they'd ever built, in a body style that car buyers overwhelmingly loved, and with all the other performance hardware Chevrolet could pack into a mid-sized chassis, the LS6 Chevelle could eat up just about any car it lined up against. It made a pretty big impression on those who drove it.
These cars, straight off the showroom floor, were basically low 15-second cars. After we got finished with them by souping up the engines with cams and headers and tuning up the engines to maximum horsepower, you could put them down into the high 13s and 14s.
In its one-year lifespan, the LS6 Chevelle became a legend. Less than 5,000 of these supercars were ever sold, and perfectly restored LS6s today sell for nearly $40,000, placing them among the most prized collector cars. Chevelle buyers had their choice of 4 different Supersports in 1970, 2 models with 396 engines and another 454, the lower output 360 horsepower LS5 model. Chevy fans must have known, even in 1970, that the LS6 was going to be a special car. It outsold the LS5 by almost 200 cars. But that's not surprising. Chevy owners have never been reluctant to spend a buck to go a little faster. In fact, that's how this whole Supersport thing started.
Chevrolet has spent a lot of time, spent a lot of money, really wooing the performance enthusiast. Since that's the case, now Chevrolet is probably the most popular of all the brands, of all the American brands anyway, for performance.
When we come back, we'll trace the development of the Super Sport Chevelle from its cute and sporty first days to its final evolution as the baddest of the bad. Cars like the ss454 Chevelle don't just happen. They're a product of a long development process. In Chevrolet's case, this process started with the very first Chevelle back in 1964. When the muscle car wars began, the Super Sport Chevelle, with its little 220 horsepower, 283 cubic inch small block engine, wasn't ready to run with the big boys. But Chevy reacted quickly. 1 year later, the Chevelle Malibu Super Sport, with a 396 engine, hit the streets. The first model of what would become one of the most popular, best-selling muscle cars of all time.
This is a 65 Chevelle Z16 that I purchased in 1991. It has a 396, 375 horse. This particular car belonged to Dan Blocker that played on the TV series Bonanza. When they first put these cars in production, they put them in the hands of celebrities and things like that to promote the new 396.
With the 1965 Chevelle Malibu SS 396, Chevy gave the world a good look at what they could do with a muscle car. Just 201 Super Sport Malibus were built with the Z16 option code, and this option included every fun part Chevy had, from the top-of-the-line 375-horse 396 to high-performance suspension parts and all the dress-up equipment on the option list. The SS 396 option added an extra $1,500 to the cost of what had been a low-priced Malibu SS.
The Chevelle, just like all the other GMA bodies of that era, was really a nicely engineered car, well-balanced car, very attractive, easy to drive, decent weight.
When the 1966 models rolled out, the redesigned SS 396 Chevelle was no longer just an option package for the Malibu, but a separate model in Chevy's lineup. It was also ready for battle. The only two engines available in the Super Sport were both 396s, a 325-horse version and an all-new 360-horse motor, in addition to all the big block horse